My goodness, what's happening out there?
Well, we're in the Wild West, so you never typically. We're in a market that is declining.
Yep.
We're about 70% reduced. And
70?
70%, 60 to 70% reduced. And our
What is that? No. Tell me, what does that mean exactly?
about 70% of the active homes on the market have been reduced.
Ah, got it. Okay.
So, for example, I just listed a house in Southeast Boise, 4 bedroom, 2 bath for 615,000. In March, I could have sold it for 750. So I don't think that we're crashing necessarily, but I do feel that we're in a pretty big market adjustment. I do believe we're still leading the nation in the amount of reductions that we have. Our average price has gone down from about 650 to about 540.
Woo.
So, which is really good news for a lot of people. If you look at it negatively, of course, sellers aren't getting the equity that they thought they had, but it's really good news for buyers, especially buyers that live here and make an average wage.
Right. The prices are staying pretty constant, but interest rates are crushing people that were spending $700,000 can't spend 700 now. They can spend
Right.
5.
So we had that about 6 months ago, where it was just, buyers. We had a lot of buyer delay, a lot of buyer fallout, a lot of buyer hesitation, and the market started going down. So I don't know if you'll see it there, but we seem to be leading the nation.
60 to 70%. Geez, the report I ran the other day was 41% of active listings had done a price reduction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And days on market's edging up a little bit, but that's still it's very, very neighborhood specific.
Ours is too, but we're edging up to about 35 days on the market. And that being said, if you have a really good home in a really good area, I listed one last weekend for 527, and we're under contract and closing in a week at 560.
Wow, great.
So we got 5 offers. So it's a little bit of a sporadic market. You just never know what's going to happen.
So what's your inventory look like? Year over year? Do you have more inventory today than you did a year ago?
Yes, we're up about 50% in inventory.
Wow.
So again, a good time to buy. Our rents have increased a lot. So I think that the average 2 bedroom apartment right now is running in a good area is running about 1,500, where it was about 1,000 2 years ago.
That's a 50% increase. That's nice.
Yeah. So it's a good time to get into rental properties. It's a good time to get into single families. We have a lot of homes that are 350,000 and under again, which is really nice to see, because that gives everybody a little bit of a break to get into a home. And what we're telling buyers is that, you fall in love with a home and you date the interest rates. So you can always refinance.
That's right. That's right. There's lots of discussion locally about different buy down programs, like temporary, buying the rate, having your seller. And it's, these are all signs of a market that's leveling off.
Right.
When there's more is expected from the seller.
Right. Saw a lot of that about 2 months ago. Now we're not seeing so much of it as the prices are coming down still.
Yeah. So even with a higher interest rate, if your prices are dropping $100,000, 50 to 100,000, that's great for the buyers out there.
It's really good for the buyers. I talked to a mortgage person yesterday, and they said their applications were up about 60%.
That's great. I was looking at showing time stats, and I guess the most recent stats are October, November, and the entire United States is down 27%. Out in the West, we're down 50%.
Yep.
And Idaho is, yeah, you're part of that as well. If you look at a region, it looks like the entire market's taking a nosedive.
Right.
Right. But locally, we're not really seeing that. We have 202 homes for sale right now in Pasadena, and that's not appreciably more or less than it was last year.
Yeah. We're up about that. So
yeah.
Good. I mean, I think once it shakes out, it'll be a healthy get.
Yeah. I was speaking with Albie in Las Vegas, and they've got, I mean, their community, I don't think of Vegas as a couple of million people, right? It just seems smaller to me. But they've got, their inventory has increased dramatically over the last 90 days, right? And their prices, I think there's about a $50,000 price difference on average, lower than it was, 90 days ago. But with a couple of million people, I mean, Pasadena's 135,000 people. I forget how many Boise has. What's your population there in the metro?
I think it's about 700 right now, and I could be wrong on that. I would really have to look it up.
Yeah.
Not up to date on that's correct.
Let's see. I'll look real quick. City, it says 237,000.
Right.
But the metro 749.
And when I moved here 28 years ago, I believe that Boise was like 120,000 in the city. So it's doubled, but that's a lot that it took to double. There's really no land in the downtown Boise to develop right now.
Yeah.
So holding pretty constant.
Boy. Yep. Apparently we have an edict locally to create 400 new housing units each year for the next 10 years.
Oh, really?
Yes. And apparently we get, I guess each counties and cities get state funds for doing that.
Right.
So because a portion of that housing has to be for Section 8 or affordable, the 2-3 different categories of affordable housing.
Yeah.
Right. So,
there's still a lot of apartments and things like that going up. There's just not a lot of single starts on families in this area.
Yeah. Right.
I know, but I want to say that Boise is far from falling apart. We're still very, we're just going back to a more generous cost of living here.
Yeah, I love it. In your business specifically, are the investors about 25% of your business or more or less?
I would say 25%.
Yeah. Do you anticipate that going up as the prices reduce a little bit?
I've seen some investor activity back at not as far as purchasing, and investors are being much more careful. But we are still seeing 1031 exchanges, for example.
Yeah.
I've sold some property here recently where people, made $200,000 or $300,000 on a building and then took it to a less expensive market.
Yeah. Interesting times out there, Alison.
I know.
Very interesting times out there. So what's the forecast? What are people saying about the first quarter of 23?
I think that we're in for some more price reductions. I think that the forecast is varied, but it seems to be about a 10 to 20% more reductions in prices. But we'll see.
So if that's another 10, 20% on top of
where we are.
Was it 40 something percent or 35%?
We did about 40%, depending on the area that you were in.
Yeah.
And we about, we're losing that appreciation.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, always opportunities, right?
Yeah, always opportunities.
Always opportunities out there. Boy. And the rents the rents are stable, or they're still going up a little bit?
I read a report yesterday that the rents are coming down a little bit. Haven't seen anything that is in reality.
Yeah. In our MLS here, I look at one of the first few things I do in the morning is I look at new listings and
Right.
price reductions, right? So the majority of the time, like there were 10 price reductions yesterday, 7
Mhm.
of them were leases,
Oh, wow.
right? So people are, well, people, consumers, sellers, they're behind because
Right.
they're reading the news that's based on the last 60 to 90 days and not what's happening right now, right?
Exactly.
So even people who were renting and or selling their properties, they were uh, overly optimistic
Right.
about the values. So the rents are coming down a little bit, but still they were, chances are good that those rental rates were exceptionally high to begin with,
Exactly.
right?
So much that we're losing value, but we were overpriced.
Right, right. Well, it's deceleration of value is what they're
Yeah.
calling it, right? That's a cute phrase. As long as it's worth more than what I paid for it, I feel okay.
And that's the thing. The sellers here still have a lot of equity, still have several $100,000 worth of equity in their homes.
Yeah,
So it's got to readjust their thinking. And if you buy and sell in the market, it's the same difference.
yeah. Well, that's right. You're absolutely right. That's a great point. If you're buying in a local, you're going to be buying and selling in that same market. So
Right.
what may benefit you as a seller is going to perhaps hamper you as a buyer,
Exactly.
right? Because it's interesting, people who want to trade up locally, their families are expanding, or they're bringing in their families
Right.
becoming multi-generational, right? That's a big thing.
Right.
When there's a lack of housing, it's hard to stomach if they have a $500,000 mortgage at 3% and they're going into a $1 million mortgage at 6.5. That's hard to stomach for people.
Oh, I know it is. But I do think that everything will even out. I think it's going to take a little bit more time.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to see interest rates in the high fives.
Yeah,
That's good news, at least.
I know.
Sheesh. I tell you, so many with increased inventory, right? If buyers have more choices,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sellers are still going to have to do more, whether it's buying down
Right.
interest rates or doing repairs, right?
Right. Or reducing their price. Yeah.
Or reducing their price.
Yeah.
There was a time, probably 8, 9, 10 years ago, when sellers were in a position where they had to do repairs, price reductions, etc. But it was like a double whammy when the physical inspection results would come in and we would make a large request for repairs. Then the appraisal would come in low.
Right.
And after the seller agrees to 15, 20, $30,000 in physical and in repairs, then the appraiser says that the property's worth 50,000 less than the contract price. And oftentimes they have to agree to that price reduction as well. So
I
they're
know.
not feeling so great about that.
I know. And hopefully they're getting a good buy on the other side.
That's right. Well, hopefully they're moving elsewhere where the market's not so volatile.
I think since June, I've had 10 listings, 7 of them moved out of state.
Wow. And where are they going? The South?
The South. I've got one seller right now that's going to Colorado for family reasons. But a lot of people are going to the South. A lot of people are going back East. So anywhere where it's a little bit cheaper.
Yep. The Great Migration.
I know.
So Georgia, the Carolinas.
I know. They're on fire.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Boy. Well, thank you, Alison, for the quick update. I sure appreciate that.
You're welcome, and have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy holidays. I love the art glass behind you there in your cottage.
Oh, Yes, that's my window. This is my home. So yeah, isn't that pretty? Blue. It's black. It's black and white at night. It's blue and orange in the morning, and then during the day, it's this color.
Hey, everybody. Wow. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions at all about any of the cities that we talk about on the show, just drop us a DM, give us a call, send us an email. It's your choice.